First, let's note Columbus, as this story is supposedly true. What do I mean by this? What am I trying to say? Nothing's changed. It's still used to scare people. The eclipse story wasn't Einstein's relativity proof, but Columbus's, right? Look here. There was an eclipse on February 29th, 1504, and Columbus used it to avoid starvation. Many historians agree that Christopher Columbus, the first European to reach America, was an extremely clever man. When they say many historians, it's probably just 4 funded ones. I won't say they're funded by Britain or Spain, as I'm not sure who benefits more from this story, the Spanish or the English. But the guy was supposedly a Genoese navigator. What was Columbus like? Let's assume the whole story is true, around the year of 1511 or 1508. By then, he already knew about eclipses. He had the tables because astronomy had already advanced. Actually, everyone knew due to the Saros cycle, but he knew, and so he arrived. He was there. And you have to imagine that the natives of that time had never seen an eclipse. The Mayans, all the tribes of Central America, of all America in general, were all ignorant and didn't have any ceremonies based on celestial events. The Mayan calendar didn't exist. Mayans didn't know eclipses. They didn't know clouds. Nothing. They were just ignorant, which I'm saying ironically, but Columbus, who did know, told the natives. He said, "Listen, I need you to give us food, me and my crew, as this is the 3rd voyage." And being so, Columbus didn't plan as well as in the previous 2 voyages. How much food did he need to bring? We're off to a bad start, because if you've made 2 trips before, you should know how much to bring. But let's say there was a feast because 2 crew members had birthdays at sea, and Columbus, being a good guy, wanted to celebrate roulette and threw a kind of banquet, which depleted their food stock. The market didn't self-regulate. And when they reach land, suddenly the men say, "We're starving, Columbus. We need to get food." So Columbus goes and talks to the tribes, saying, "Guys, give us food." I miscalculated, had a mid-journey banquet. And the natives told him, "Columbus, this food is for us, our people. We're nationalists. We want to supply our market first, then give to others as any thinking person would do." Columbus replies, "No, I'm an internationalist, a libertarian, I need food." But on the other side they say, "No, I repeat, I supply the domestic market first, then export the surplus." Columbus gets angry then, as he knew about eclipses, while the natives didn't. The Mayan calendar is all nonsense. He says, "Look, I'll give you this chance. In 3 days, I'll speak to my God." Though I'm being ironic with history, this is the story. "I'll speak to my God, who is the only true one, and I'll tell him to turn the moon blood red as a demonstration of my God's power. And if you don't give me food, I, Christopher Columbus, will ask my God to destroy you." 3 days passed. Columbus roamed freely in their land. The worried natives watched the sky nightly, saw the white moon, and said, "He's a liar." Suddenly, BAM! The 1508 eclipse turns the moon red. The natives, they freak out. They're scared shitless. Columbus acting like a mobster. Because in the end, listen, he comes to threaten you that if you don't give him food, you'll ask your God to destroy you. There's always a mess over an apple, always a fuss about food. You see what I mean? I'm being ironic. The apple has another symbolism. He tells them this, and then the natives witness that eclipse, and now they're all Columbus worshippers. Plus, Columbus in his outfit, I don't know if you're seeing it like I am, you know? But I mean, watch out for those little shorts. Look at Columbus's getup. He was already pretty well blended in, and he had shorts that nowadays, with the dengue mess we have, I wouldn't recommend wearing in the jungle, dear Columbus. But anyway, and there it is, no signal. And look at all the ignorant Satan worshippers saying Columbus is right. Bring him not just the food, but also the Ministry of Finance, and even give Columbus the Secretary of Commerce. And that's how Columbus's story ends, with an eclipse that saved the lives of all his crew members. Now, why have I brought this up? And please excuse my ironic way of telling it, but I can't help it. Some things are just too much for me. Because the message behind this, look at this woman, poor thing, the trauma it caused her. She had to give Columbus her children's food so God wouldn't destroy the world, and she's like, no, why? How traumatic, everything about it, that's the main issue. It's always trauma and fear through a celestial phenomenon. Obviously, eclipses were once used for military and war purposes, both to see if it was a good sign for war, and also to scare their own people, to make them act accordingly. As this Columbus story wasn't just applied to indigenous people, society itself was also told by the highest priestly or monarchical hierarchies.
how they had that data from the Saros cycle at that time. Almost like now, not everyone knew astronomy. No. There was the priestly caste. They used it to communicate with the gods. And now we must do this, or else the gods will... The story is the same, repeating itself. This time it's linked to the demon's comet.
It'll happen during this eclipse. The demon's comet returns, aligning with the April 8th eclipse in 2024. This isn't a joke, basically. Wait, I'm not sure why I'm seeing this. There it is. It says the Devil's Comet aligns with the April 8th eclipse. And because a comet also appeared in the sky in 1811, we might see an eclipse.
If I say that the world is round and someone else says it's flat,
let me just underscore, you don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round.
in other breaking news, the world is round, not flat.
But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. The current members of the Flat Earth Society in Congress, they must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
We got some people at high levels of aspiration who are the flat Earth. We have Flat Earth Caucus.
How do we know the Earth is not flat?
Shh.